Mate, so active and engaged, and to tell us how important that can be, we've got renowned medical researcher and expert in ageing, Professor Cassandra Szoeke.
Can I just tell the world about this woman? You are phenomenal. You have run the longest women's health study in this country and probably the world. For more than 30 years, you've been tracking a group of women, looking at so many aspects of their lives, from emotional health, physical health. But the one that we want to talk to you today is about connection. How important is it for us to be part of a community, to have that connection as we get older?
Look, there's nothing more important to human beings than connection. We are really social creatures. So anything we do together, we do better. And in fact, we can show this scientifically. If you look at loneliness, people who are lonely, you can measure in their blood the fact they do not have the components to fight infection. And they're more likely to get infection, they're more likely to get unwell, not even touching the mental health aspect, which you know, of course, are also more likely to get depression and so on. Loneliness is killing people in our countries. When I say loneliness, I don't mean having 99 instead of 100 Facebook friends. So you can have 250 Facebook friends but feel lonely. Yeah. And you can have yourself and a dog at home and be a hermit and not feel lonely. So it really is about each individual. We're all so different, but you don't want to feel lonely. And if you're feeling lonely, reach out.
So we talk about, you know, your diet and, you know, exercise and all that, but social interaction is probably the most important on the list.
With physical activity, when you put people on their own doing it, they do this better. And when you put them with others, be it a coach or even a peer coach or support or group activities, they do this better. If you're doing it with other people, you do better. Wow. And, you know, you saw Margot was gorgeous. And
oh, it wasn't gorgeous to me.
Oh,
no.
But she was, and you picked it up straight away. You said, you're making friends with me before you even start. So the social aspect of that sport, the sport was one thing, but it was really the social aspect. The social aspect is so important.
As we get older, how important is it to find maybe a new sense of purpose, a new direction, something else to get us excited every day?
Look, sense of purpose is absolutely crucial to the human being. In fact, we've got now several scales around the world which can measure your chance of getting mild depression, moderate depression, severe depression, or being at risk for depression. And all of those scales include several items where they ask you about your sense of purpose, your feelings of hope. We also have a lot of information around the world where people who retire, and particularly this is an issue for men, there's a death rate after retirement that is not disease-related. So when people lose their sense of purpose, they can actually die more often.
The idea of healthy ageing, is that different for different people?
Absolutely. There's 1,000 different variations of healthy ageing, and the leading cause of death in this country are dementia, heart disease and stroke. So you don't want to get dementia, heart disease or stroke. The thing is, the World Health Organization has already said 80% of those diseases are preventable. Then we've got to talk about quality of life, so that's really important, and that would be avoiding diseases that give you poor quality of life or poor function. And these, from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, are back pain, dementia again, anxiety, depression. So you want to avoid those diseases. Now again, every single one of those have got preventable aspects. So the problem, I think, is that people don't think about healthy ageing until they're old. And what's the definition of old? Well, I'm not going to get into that.
I reckon it's a day older than we are right now.
Yeah.
But whenever you want to think of old, take dementia. Dementia takes 30 years to develop. 30 years before your diagnosis. So if you think 70's old, well, you're talking 40 to stop that happening. Oh. And that's what we don't think about. Heart disease, decades for that cholesterol to be building up in those vessels. I'm missing my slides, guys. Where are my slides? That takes decades. So I think one of the troubles is with healthy ageing, and it's preventable, you don't think about it until you've already got it.
That's a lesson, I think, for all of us, isn't it?
Wow.
Get onto it.
So in summing up, join a club, bowls club, tennis club, reading club, cards, go and play cards if you don't want to be too active. A bit of a balanced diet, but the social interaction is a must for everyone moving forward.
What I would say is whatever you want your healthy ageing to be, do that. So if you want to be fit when you're older, Well, be fit now. If you want to be really clever when you're older, you've got to keep that brain honed. If you don't use it, you will lose it. That's muscle, that's brain, that's everything. So do every day for an hour activity which you love, because you have to do it every single day for the rest of your life. So make sure you love it and do it with people you love.
Thank you so much for sharing all the insights.
Thank
We've
you.
absolutely loved it and we've learned a great deal. And would you please thank Cassandra Szoeke?
After the break, we've got some top tips for beating that dreaded jet lag.